Hey everyone, thanks again for joining us on It Starts With Plastic Free. Corey, how are you doing?
I'm good today, mate. Yourself?
Good. I hope you're not going to get too hungry because we're going to talk about Mars bars shortly. But I saw a really good article a few weeks ago from Sky News in the UK about Mars and this initiative they've gone with now with bringing out their wrappers using recycled paper and trying to reduce plastic, and they'd come out as a company saying that their goal was to reduce plastic by a third.
Where we produce around 230 million Mars bars every year.
Paper wraps are one of a range of initiatives that we're exploring in order to improve the recyclability of our packaging.
I saw a really good article on LinkedIn, and it someone put a post that they were trying to say that it was a negative, and we've been talking about plastics and reducing microplastics, etc. But the part was, do we go with using recycled plastic for film wraps or recycled paper? And there's been information that paper is more energy hungry to recycle than what plastic is.
Or virgin plastic.
Virgin plastic, for sure. But I tend to think that there is renewable sources with, there's the carbon, you're cutting down trees, but we can replant them, but you're taking oil out of the ground. And my worry is, or my concern is, we still have this microplastic issue, which is more of a health piece. And I'd like to think that we're going to be, as a human race, will get smarter and more intelligent on how we do create paper without it being so energy hungry. But your thoughts on where that might head with the future of wraps?
Well, I think I'm fascinated in this spot around, on one hand, someone comes up with some data that says actually making this wrapper out of plastic might be a reduction in carbon versus a paper wrapper, although I question how valid that is in terms of have they based that on renewable FSC certified forests and the like, sustainable forests, and are they measuring it going to landfill or being recycled at end of life and the likes, versus not taking into consideration, if you do manufacture plastic to start with, the toxicity around that, the microplastics at end of life. It doesn't seem to take into account a lot of the negatives of producing plastic and the fact that it's around forever, and as we were talking in a previous episode, PFAS issues and all sorts of things. So I get torn on this one and trying to really understand what is the absolute
Well, we've had our fair bash at corporates around the world of recent times, but I think it's good that an initiative is from a company that size and scale, that they've gone out globally and are trying something and taking a step forward. And,
agree.
The consumer power will obviously say what they like or not, but the data is important. But then it raises the question: what is, single-use materials are not good anywhere. You want to avoid them where you can. So what is the alternative then? Let's think about this. We're seeing now in some of the supermarkets, you can go in with your laundry detergent bottle and have a refill station and refill it. Where does that head with food? Because there's a little bit of difference with handling food for hygiene, etc. But what is the alternative? Okay, we're going to have something that's wrapped in plastic versus wrapped in paper. Or when you go to the bread aisle, sometimes you pick out your rolls and you might have your own bag and fabric bag, whatever, and you put them in that. Can that be more of an initiative with the food industry in terms of not having plastic or paper, and people going to places where they can actually have their own units they'd have at home to fill into?
Yeah, well, you're just rewinding back what we used to do probably 60 years ago or so.
We're not that old, but
I was thinking more your day, but your childhood.
But anyway, but the thing is, well, you're right. But I mean, I remember, you go to a location and they'd have something in the glass jar and they'd pull out the tongs and put it in there. And food handling is important, and you can't do that with everything. I mean, a chocolate bar, but there's a lot of foods out there that probably don't need to be wrapped in plastic or paper. And I think we might see, if I look into my crystal ball, we see some of these supermarkets now have these sustainable aisles. With detergent tablets and refillable bottles and all these stations that are automated. Would such a thing be like that with a vending machine where you might be able to put your bag or your own home taken packaging there, and you push the button and the food comes out and you can take it home with you? Those sorts of processed items. Because we're seeing things like cans that are still, aluminium's a really good thing to recycle, and no one's sort of rehashing how we handle soups, etc. But there is also the argument of how energy intense are they to produce, and so that's how plastics all arrived in this part.
Imagine how much skinnier we'd all be if you couldn't take chocolate home.
Well, that might be the way. It's on the ban list, and then walk home and walk the calories.
Exactly.
Well, you might all have an opinion on this. We'd really like to get some engagement on paper versus plastic, and obviously Mars is something that we've probably all tasted at one time and still do. But even I think it's a great initiative even for kids, at schools, to know that what they're unwrapping, whether it be a chocolate bar or protein bar, whatever it might be, is in a different form of packaging. But definitely Mars, I think a company that size is initiating something that might influence other companies. And are they on the right track or not? Let's find out. But if anyone's got any thoughts or ideas on it, let's hear about it, engage in the conversation.